How do you explain an entire decade? You could talk about the music, the movies, the fashion, but I think one of the best ways to understand the 2000s is through the games we played. Because video games weren't isolated from the culture, they were part of it. For a lot of us, the 2000s began in front of a big, bulky monitor. You hurry home after a long day of school, throw your book bag on the floor, and rush to the PC. And if you wanted to use the internet, you had to dial a number and listen to the sounds of a space station. Most families only had one computer. If your brother got there first, you waited. If your mom needed to check her email, you were done for the day. And if someone picked up the phone while you were online, well, good luck. Some of my earliest memories come from playing pinball and Rita Rabbit games as a child. Before Steam, downloading games wasn't even part of the conversation. You bought a box, opened the case, and hoped you had enough patience to install 3 or 4 CDs. Then came the era of flash games and chat sites. I loved logging into Millsberry and making a character, although it would have been much more fun if my internet was faster. Websites like GameFudge or AddictingGames.com could keep you occupied for hours. I remember trying to finish the Impossible quiz. Everyone would take turns. Until this day, I don't think I've ever completed it. There was the violently entertaining Whack Your Boss, or the game that traumatized me for weeks, the Scary Maze game. One game that completely consumed me was Audition on Nexon.net. It was a rhythm game where you had to press the corresponding keys on your keyboard, kind of like Dance Dance Revolution, but for the computer. But while many of us were spending our afternoons on the family computer, another gaming revolution was happening in the living room.
Yeah!
Back then, the first thing you wanted to know when you met someone was what console they owned. The console boom was a major turning point in gaming, culture, and media. Driven by the PlayStation 2, Microsoft's entry to the market with Xbox, and Nintendo's GameCube. This decade witnessed one of the most intense console wars in gaming history. You'd discover an entirely new library of games, a different controller, different menu, and startup sound. Consoles were completely different ecosystems. The PS2 debut kickstarted the decade's midnight release craze.
I'm here for the PlayStation 2.
With fans camping out overnight at malls and major retailers like GameStop for the sought-after console. This was a glorious time that sadly younger generations may never get to experience.
Night around the nation for the thousands who lined up for the launch of PlayStation 2, enough to make retailers nervous.
A midnight release was almost like a block party. People brought folding chairs, tents, and portable TVs. You met new people and bonded with strangers. It wasn't just picking up a game, but a whole cultural event.
We've got over 300 stores open up and down the country.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the best game of the year, be real.
It's a bit of an experience, like I've met a load of cool guys here today that I didn't know.
You'd have to show up hours, sometimes days, in advance to secure your spot in line. And if you were too late, well, good luck getting a spot. Lines would wrap around buildings or span blocks. Some players would arrive around 9 to 10 p.m. to pay off their remaining pre-order balances and receive a numbered wristband. As the clock struck midnight, stores would unlock the doors and let eager fans file in a few at a time. For the Halo release, stores handed out foam Spartan helmets and inflatable energy swords.
To be the first Halo fans in the world to experience the end of Master Chief's legendary fight. It all starts tonight. Thank you for your unbelievable support, and I hope everybody has a great time playing Halo 3. Thanks very much.
What makes this so special is the fact that everything was physical. You had to go pick up a copy of a game or magazine. We didn't have the convenience of digital downloads. Microsoft made a major splash in the industry with the Xbox in 2001, bringing high-fidelity PC-style gaming to the TV screen. The introduction of Xbox Live allowed gamers to connect with friends all over the world. No longer were you confined by local co-op or scrambling to buy a second controller. The Xbox Live Starter Kit came with a communicator headset, Xbox Live subscription, and demo disc with popular multiplayer games. Thanks to Halo 2 for changing the game. Lobbies were absolutely insane, filled with budding friendships and a lot of trash talk. Looking back, it's strange to think how novel this felt. Today, jumping online with strangers is second nature, but in the early 2000s, it felt like the future had arrived in your living room. From midnight launches to X-Play with Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, gaming was taking over the world. Many studios wanted to capitalize on the success of gaming systems, which led to many movie franchises and popular TV shows having video game tie-ins. Kids can now play as Marlin and save his son in Finding Nemo. Instead of watching Spider-Man, you could be Spider-Man and swing through New York City, an absolute game changer. And after watching Jennifer Gardner play as Agent Sydney Bristow, you can turn on the Xbox and actually be Sydney Bristow.
A car just hit that girl. She needs to go to the hospital. The pain. Make it stop.
No discussion of the 2000s would be complete without mentioning Tony Hawk and the skateboarding craze that swept through an entire generation. Few things capture what it felt like to grow up in the 2000s better than the skateboarding craze. Now, as a girl growing up, I loved gaming, but I also loved Barbie and Bratz and all things girly. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impacted by the skating world as well. Baggy jeans, Vans, DC shoes, Element decks, Birdhouse, we were all obsessed. The Pro Skater franchise shaped musical taste of an entire generation. It exposed the youth to a mix of punk, metal, and hip-hop, breaking genre barriers before the streaming era. A lot of people discovered Goldfinger, Bad Religion, and AFI through Tony Hawk. I remember riding my first and only board in the park with my brother. My parents even bought him a skate ramp to practice tricks in the house. We had the clothes, the swag, but couldn't kickflip to save our lives. My favorite game in particular was Tony Hawk's Underground 2. The character customization, familiar faces, and different locations gave you plenty to explore. I thought it was so cool seeing cartoon versions of Bam Margera and Ryan Sheckler. There was also a Create a Park feature that allowed you to make your own custom skate parks from scratch. Thug 2 is a game you continue to play long after the story's over. Because it wasn't just a game, it was a lifestyle. The skate phase even trickled over into mainstream media with movies like Grind, Deck Dogs, Lords of Dogtown, and shows like Viva La Bam. It was a huge explosion of art, music, and fashion.
Jimmy was...
We can also include the Fast and the Furious as well. Before the franchise turned into the new Saints Row, Fast and Furious brought underground street racing culture to the mainstream. Many games were inspired by the movie's aesthetic, notably Midnight Club and Need for Speed Underground. Neon-lit city streets, customizable vehicles, and open maps. It was a way for gamers to play in their own Fast and Furious. By the end of the decade, video games weren't just reflecting the culture, they were helping define it.